Good afternoon and welcome. My name is Madeline Frelick, and it has been my absolute honor to serve as the Speaker of the House for the Phi Lambda Sigma Leadership Society Board of Directors this year. It is my distinct pleasure at this time to call to order the 50th House of Delegates of the Phi Lambda Sigma Pharmacy Leadership Society at approximately 12:05 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I would like to take a moment to express gratitude to those that make our society and its chapters operational. Thank you to our chapter advisors, chapter officers, and all past board officers for their committed service. Thank you for being a leader among leaders and for your continued interest in and support of the society. Your contributions do not go unnoticed, and you are truly appreciated. We will walk through the following agenda as we progress through the meeting today. Delegates. You should have received an email titled Delegate Packet, which includes all the documents needed for today's meeting. Prior to this session, you should have also received a document titled Checklist and How-Tos. Please have that document on hand to use as a reference throughout the meeting. To reiterate some of the how-tos for today's meeting, we've provided a reminder slide shown now on the screen. If a delegate would like to make a motion, please type the word motion into the chat box. If a delegate would like to second the motion, please type the word second into the chat box. If a delegate would like to discuss a motion or has a question, please select the raise hand option in the reactions on Zoom. Your audio will be unmuted for you to address the House. Board members will be monitoring the chat box, so we ask that you please be patient as they look for raised hands. Lastly, delegates, please ensure that you have changed your display name to show your chapter, followed by the word delegate, and then your name. At this time, we will now begin with a roll call of the delegates conducted by parliamentarian Dr. Jamie Wagner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. In an effort to expedite the roll call, I will now call only the name of each chapter that has not certified a delegate of record for today's House. If you hear your chapter called, please move to the late check-in room immediately. The following chapters are not currently represented by a delegate: Omicron, Pi, Sigma, Chi, Alpha Alpha, Alpha Theta, Alpha Pi, Alpha Psi, Beta Theta, Beta Kappa, Beta Chi, Beta Rho, Beta Sigma, Beta Upsilon, Gamma Gamma, Gamma Delta, Gamma Zeta, Gamma Nu, Gamma Xi, Gamma Omega, Delta Gamma, Delta Delta, Delta Epsilon, Delta Iota, Delta Upsilon, Delta Phi, Epsilon Epsilon, Epsilon Zeta, Epsilon Eta, Epsilon Theta, Epsilon Iota, Epsilon Kappa, and Epsilon Nu. At this time, we have reached quorum with a total number of 113 of the accounted for delegates. I will now turn it back over to you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Wagner. Delegates, with more than 1/2 of the active Phi Lambda chapters present, constituting a quorum, we may now conduct the business of the Society. It is a point of order to clarify at this time that only the certified delegate of record from each chapter is permitted to vote and address the House. No audience members outside of the delegate representatives will be permitted to vote or address the House. The first item of business is approval of the minutes of the 49th House of Delegates held on April 13th, 2024 on a virtual platform. The minutes were provided in the delegate packet. The Speaker will entertain a motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes. As a reminder, we ask that a delegate type the word motion in the chat box. Motion from Alpha Row. Is there a second to the motion? Please type the word second in the chat box to second the motion. Second from Gamma Eta. Is there any discussion on the motion? If so, please select the raise hand option if you would like to discuss the motion. Seeing none, the speaker will now call the vote. Due to the constraints of a virtual House of Delegates, we will only ask those who are opposed to state their opposition or those who are abstaining to state as such in the chat. All opposed, please type no in the chat box at this time. All abstentions, please type abstain in the chat box at this time. Seeing none, the motion to dispense with the reading of the minutes has passed. The speaker will now entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the 49th House of Delegates. Motion from Beta Pi. Second from Alpha Eta. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, the speaker will now call the vote. All opposed, please type no. All abstentions, please type abstain. Seeing none, the motion to approve the minutes of the 49th House of Delegates has passed. At this time, I now call for the report of the Executive Director, Dr. Brandon Jennings.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. To our board officers, chapter delegates, and those watching from around the country, I want to take an opportunity to share some of our achievements over the last year. You're going to be hearing from our officers and our committee chairs in a few moments, and they'll be celebrating what each of their teams have been up to. But before you hear from them, I want to celebrate a bit about what the central office has been doing to support the society over the last year. So first and foremost, I want to thank our staff. They're amazing to work with. Hard work, dedication to serving you and ensuring our officers and our committees have what they need to succeed. Many of you interacted with them today as you checked in for the House as they're manning our breakout rooms. Our job is to ensure that the daily operations of the society are able to function. So that's making sure our volunteer leaders can succeed. That's taken us from updating the website, making sure that we're communicating with you through all channels that we possibly can, processing orders, interfacing with our vendors, and answering questions from you. So I want to acknowledge Dr. Haley McKeefer, our digital marketing manager, Rebecca Axon, our website management intern, Kendall Kerr, our order and membership management intern, and our executive assistant, Catherine Riddle. They are so fun to work with. It's such a joy to collaborate with them. So I can't thank them enough for their hard work. Let's celebrate a little bit. For those that know me, I'm not the best at celebrating, but this is a big year for us. So PLS is turning 60 this year, and we were founded by Charlie Thomas at Auburn University in 1965. So we kicked off our anniversary celebration at the APHA annual meeting as we had a joint reception with Rokai, and we have events planned for all year. So also, anyone inducted this year will receive a 60th anniversary membership pin instead of our standard pin. And what's really cool about that pin is it takes all of the different versions of pin that we've had over the years and combines them into one. And so for 1 year only, that will be distributed. So just want to take a moment and thank Charlie Thomas for having the vision to create a society to allow for this to happen that really recognizes and cultivates leaders in pharmacy. Now, some of our actions that we took over this last year, we had a heavy lift over this last year. So for the last 10 years or so, about 50 different board members, the society has had a vision of creating a universal member selection process. You guys have probably heard a lot about this already. We've had various town halls, feedback forums. You're going to hear a lot more about it today. There'll probably be quite a bit of discussion on it today. But I just want to take a moment to congratulate our board of directors for taking this step. I'm so proud of their vision and laying the foundation for the society to be as inclusive as possible and to expand our mission to as many members as possible. I have the pleasure of working for an organization that values inclusivity and sees the benefit of diversity in all we do. So thank you to our board, both current and past, for the vision and the willingness to choose what they view as the correct path, even if it's a very difficult one. So for the past few years, we built a strong committee structure to continue to allow us to meet the needs of society. So we rely heavily on our committee chairpersons and vice chairpersons, our committee members for the strategic vision and the real execution of how we can move forward. They also assist with taking care of some logistical needs of individual projects assigned to the committee. So I want to take a moment to thank the committee chairpersons and vice chairpersons for their tireless service over the past year. We cannot thank you enough for all that you've done, and we really wouldn't be moving forward without you. As I look at where the society has been and where we're going, I couldn't be prouder of the leadership of the board officers have demonstrated in growing the society. We made a commitment years ago to continue to foster leader development amongst our members. We've worked tirelessly to make good on this commitment. So this includes training for our facilitators, offering workshops to our members and chapters, offering leader academies, which many of you have participated in, and conducting an annual leadership summit. So we always have more room for growth and improvement. It's constantly on our agenda to talk about, but I'm just proud of the successes that we've had in that arena. And as I look at over the last 5 years or so. So I want to thank all of our chapter members, leaders, for all of your hard work during this past year. I know it's a huge challenge to stay engaged and keep your chapter moving forward. So I want you to know that we're here for you from the central office perspective. We'll support you in any way you need. So I know I say this every year, but please, please, please reach out if you're having any trouble or you need help directly. I'll either be able to help you if I can or put you in contact with someone who can. I think the hardest thing for chapters is continuity and really handing down of information. And sometimes it just gets lost. And so don't get frustrated and sit there and try to recreate it. If you just reach out, we might have an answer that can help you. So we'll respond as quickly as we can. My last thank you is I just wanted to take a moment and thank our elected officers for all their work over this past year. They volunteered to not only run for office, but they worked tirelessly for the society after being elected last year. They've really helped move the society forward, and I can't say how much it's been a pleasure to work with them. It's just been amazing. So thank you guys. Thanks for a great year. We're excited for 2025. I want to thank each of you for the role you play within your chapter in helping to grow the amazing reputation of Phi Lambda Sigma. So thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Jennings. At this time, I would like to remind all chapter delegates who have not checked in to please move to the breakout room to be certified as a delegate of record for today's House if you were joining us a little bit late. I now call for the report of the Treasurer, Dr. Jacqueline Cole. Dr. Cole could not be with us today, so we have a video for you of her pre-recorded report. Given our technical difficulties, we're going to defer the video and try to get that cleared up once we have a break, so we will move forward with the agenda. The next item of business is to hear and receive reports from the board officers. I now call on the report of the President, Dr. Caroline Coe.
Next slide, please. Thank you, Madam Speaker, and thank you everyone for joining today. I am going to keep my report very short, and the reason for that is that our amazing committee chairs are here to present a lot of the exciting accomplishments that they have helped to create over the past year, and so I do not wish to steal anyone's thunder. But I did want to highlight a few things from the high level. We have, as you heard from Dr. Jennings, begun to celebrate our 60th anniversary year. So this is very exciting. And the president-elect, Dr. Hoyan Chung, and I had a chance to attend virtually the initiation ceremony at the Alpha chapter, our original chapter, last week as part of the 60th anniversary celebration as well. So many more events to come and much more to celebrate this year. I'm also just going to say at a high level that there have been many new initiatives developed by our committees this year, and so you will be hearing from all of them about all of their amazing accomplishments. We also continue to focus on leader development. We had a record number of volunteers from the membership to join committees this year, and I was so excited to see that. It just speaks to the engagement that all of you have within your chapters and within our international society. We also ran successful Leader Academy cohorts, and I was really excited to see that there was also social media promotion of the Leader Academy completion. And so that was really exciting to celebrate all of these folks who took the next step in their own leadership development. We took a number of steps this year to help support the exciting trajectory of PLS. When I ran for president-elect, I was really excited by the direction the society was taking, and that is what led me to want to run. And so this year as a president, I've tried to help us make some steps in the process and structure to be able to support the amazing vision that we have had as a board and as past boards have had as well. So a few of the things that we've done, we did launch a formal application process for our committee chairs and appointed officers within the past year. As you know and have heard, that we have put forward these two proposals for the board expansion and universal member selection. And this was accomplished after the work of two very important and amazing task forces, and the members of those were intentionally selected to represent a broad understanding of member and advisors and faculty members, as well as past presidents from across our society. We also approved some recommendations from our DEI task force for ongoing member demographic data collection and reporting, which we will be implementing. And then also we have begun the process of developing key performance indicators for our executive director position. This is mostly to be able to highlight and understand all that the executive director is doing for our society. And then we are able to measure and report on each of those KPIs. So those are just a few things. The society as a whole has grown so much this year. All of our committee leads, as well as our board officers and appointed officers, it's been a pleasure to work with all of them. And as president, I would obviously not have accomplished anything if it were not for those folks. And so it's been a dream team, and I appreciate every single one of them. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Coe. I now call for the report of the members at large delivered by Janie Cole and Christina Kim.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Speaker. Chrissy and I have been honored to serve as this year's member at large. We would like to take a moment to highlight the wonderful work that was done by our 11 regional liaisons seen on the next slide, who helped us create a bridge between the national board and our local chapters. They worked so hard to foster positivity, community, and leadership within their regions. And to our RLs on the call today, it has been an honor to watch you grow as leaders, and we are very excited to see what you do next. We do want to highlight on the next slide that the 2025-2026 RL application is officially open for any collegiate member who's interested in getting involved on a higher level. You can scan the QR code that you see here to access the application, and please reach out to me or Chrissy if you have any questions or concerns. We will defer the rest of our reporting to the nominating committee report, and we thank you, Madam Speaker, for the opportunity.
Thank you, Janie and Chrissy. At this time, I would like to open the floor for any questions. As a reminder, please select the raise hand option to ask questions. The Board of Directors members will monitor the chat box and will unmute your audio in order for you to address the House. As a reminder, for any chapter delegates who have not yet checked in, please move into the breakout room to be certified as a delegate of record for today's House. The next item of business is to hear and receive reports from the Society's committees. If the committee report calls for action, the person giving the report may move on behalf of the committee, and such a motion does not require a second. I first call on the report of the Awards Committee, Chairperson Dr. Gloria Chang.
Thank you. Good afternoon, esteemed members of the House of Delegates. My name is Gloria Chang, and I'm honored to stand here before you as the chair of the Awards Committee. The purpose of the Awards Committee is to review and determine awards to be awarded annually and review all award nominations. We aim to do this while mitigating bias, exclusivity, and favoritism in the process for award selection. Next slide, please. Now I have the pleasure of recognizing the members of our committee, each of whom brings a unique perspective and deep commitment to our shared mission. This year on the Awards Committee, we have certainly been busy, and I really am so thankful for each one of these members of my committee, many of whom are on this call right now, who have stepped up to really assist with the work of the Awards Committee. So thank you to all of these members. Next slide. One of our charges this last year, was to develop strategies to increase the average number of award submissions by 50% this year compared to the prior year. While we did not achieve this for every award, overall, we did see an increase in applications across many of our awards. And it was really great to see members and chapters take advantage of the support provided by the Society. For chapters of the year in our Lead the Way awards, we reviewed 102 applications, and we will be sharing the winners of these awards later at the award ceremony. For Leadership Challenge, we reviewed 13 applications, 2 winners, total of $3,000 awarded. Alumni of the Year, we received 6 applications. Mary Euler Lifetime Leadership Award, we received 6 nominations as well, which was an increase from what we saw from the year prior. For Chapter Development Awards, this is always one of my favorite awards because this money goes directly to the chapters to support events that can help support and develop the chapter and support their vision. We were able to review 10 total applications and funded 8 of them for a total of $13,259. Kathleen A. Hawkins Memorial Travel Award. This award has also seen a significant pickup, I think largely thanks to the marketing and our communications committee. But we had a large number increase from last year. We had 58 total applications reviewed this year. We were only able to fund 4, but still we were able to fund 4 applicants to attend conferences of their choice to support their leadership development. In addition to reviewing these awards, part of our work this year has been to continue to implement improvements to the award submissions process and review process, also based on evaluations of recommendations from the last awards committee. The last thing I want to just put in a plug for, in the hour following the House of Delegates, we will have our annual award ceremony. So I welcome all of you guys to join us in celebrating the winners of these awards from this year. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak with you today on behalf of the Awards Committee.
Thank you, Dr. Chang. At this time, we will go over the Finance Committee report, which is also from Dr. Jacqueline Cole, who could not be here today. She just wanted to thank all of the members of this committee, and then the Finance Committee report can be found within the committee reports folder that was shared with all of the delegates. And I believe she has some updates in that video that we will circle back to once we get a break. I now call on the report of the International Affairs Committee Chairperson, Dr. Emmy Radetich.
Hello, everybody. Pleasure to see you this afternoon. I have the great honor of talking about the International Affairs Committee and our wonderful membership who made the work possible. Go to the next slide. You'll see the names of our committee membership, and those who have an asterisk by their name served as a team lead of a work group to accomplish our charges for the year. And I have a special thanks for Dr. Jeanette Lahoud, who served as my vice chair, for the great team membership that we displayed together to lead our committee. On the next slide, you'll see our charges for the year. So number one priority, that's a sort of standing charge, is to continue supporting the growth of our previously chartered international chapters, which is notably our Epsilon Nu chapter in University of British Columbia, Vancouver. Next is developing a proposal for an advisor support program so that new international chapters have some guidance with a more experienced advisor that they can go to for any advice. Third, our goal was to establish and maintain PLS as an international organization, sort of through a rebrand as we continue to expand internationally. Fourth is to serve as a liaison between our international chapter and our board of directors so we can identify any pain points that they need help with, and that can also help us understand what potential future chapters may need help with as well. Fifth, assess pathways to chapter chartering and international involvement so that we can make these pathways more equitable and inclusive of those international members and chapters for their needs. Sixth, facilitate and or pursue opportunities to charter new chapters outside of the US. And seventh, develop a strategy to promote global mindset. And what we were able to accomplish to meet these charges is, I hope you have had the chance to join us for one of our webinars that surround a global health or pharmacy topic with leading experts. We're very proud of our Promote work group for starting that series and recruiting experts to speak about once a month. We also established a foundational process and roadmap for international charters since that hadn't been solidified in past years, and it made talking to prospective chapters a little bit easier for them to understand what it would take to charter with PLS. We also identified anticipated challenges for prospective chapters by developing a budget proposal for items such as interpreter services, external organization event fees, and also adjusted to current PLS practices with an idea to expand our regions so that when we have more international chapters, we're able to effectively manage regional liaison responsibilities with more regional liaisons abroad. We also drafted a proposal for a faculty advisor support program and created advisor resources alongside the chapter development committee, with a special thanks to the faculty advisors at our international chapter at Epsilon Nu. With the help of President Caroline Coe, we filmed a welcome video for Epsilon Nu for their induction ceremony. And the most exciting, I think, accomplishment, I think, is a partnership with the European Pharmaceutical Student Association, so that we are able to both promote PLS as an international organization, as well as encourage pharmacy students in other regions around the world to join PLS. We also offered a proposal for partnership with the International Pharmaceutical Federation for kind of the same line of thinking of promotion and encouragement of potential charters. And on the next slide, you'll see our future recommendations. So using our newfound partnerships, we really want to capitalize upon that opportunity to develop a more concrete strategy to encourage students to charter a new chapter with PLS internationally. I also recommend creating an external affairs officer position within the International Affairs Committee who answers to the chair and facilitates connections with potential partners. As we continue to expand, it gets a little bit more difficult to have the chair be the sole responder to those communications. And so having an external affairs officer, like other organizations, is really would be helpful. And then finally, utilize social media more often to promote international chapter activity and developing a global mindset. With that, I respectfully submit our International Affairs Committee report.
Thank you, Dr. Radetich. I now call on the report of the Bylaws Committee Chairperson, Dr. Jamie Wagner.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Next slide, please. So first, I would like to give a big thanks to all my committee members that helped with the success of the charges for this year. Teamwork really does make the dream work, and we worked really solidly as a team, and we pulled out a lot, as you are hearing from our two committee members so far, and then you're going to hear more later from other committees. Next slide, please. This committee worked extremely hard this year, updating, refining, and enhancing the Society's constitution and bylaws to account for not only current, but also future directions of the Society. Next slide, please. So please direct your attention to the screen for a summary highlight of where changes occurred within the Society's constitution and bylaws. All delegates received both tracked changes and a clean version of these documents for review prior to today in your delegate packet. The Bylaws Committee recommends that all revisions be voted on en bloc and makes a motion to amend the Society Constitution and bylaws as outlined in the delegate packet.
The Speaker recognizes the motion from the Bylaws Committee. Because it comes from committee, a second is not needed. Is there any discussion before we vote? If so, please select the raise hand icon. The board members will monitor the chat and will unmute your audio in order for you to address the House. The Speaker recognizes Dr. Caroline Coe.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I have a few comments, although today is the day that we will be voting on these bylaw changes to allow a universal member selection process. This has not been developed hastily or without much consideration. As you heard, beginning back in 2015, our boards have consisted of officers who have been elected by the membership, have been discussing this concept, and have taken steps to bring us to the point today. Before I go on, I want to share actually a story that came from my own chapter. A pharmacy student who was basically had been accepted to multiple pharmacy schools, chose to attend our school, served as a member of a faculty student committee, was a leader in the military, and had developed their leadership skills. This student applied for PLS, but the selection process at our school was followed, but had included a vote from current members. Since this student was also a parent, they could not attend many student organization activities that were held in evenings and weekends. Thus, their leadership skills were not as visible to current PLS members, and the majority did not vote to accept them into PLS, so they were not admitted. However, if this student had chosen to attend a different school, their process for selecting members might have been based on a written application, graded on a rubric, and used a blinded process for scoring. That student would have then met the criteria and scored enough points on the rubric to be admitted into PLS, allowing them to continue developing their leadership skills and building their professional network. So when I explain this scenario, I don't really know of anyone here who would state that this represents an equitable process. Scenarios like these, as well as situations that have come to the board's attention over many past years, which could put chapters and also the organization at risk of legal action, necessitate standardizing the process by which we select members into the society. I'm not sure of any other society that exists that has over 130 different ways to select a member. It should really not depend on which pharmacy school you choose, whether or not you have the opportunity to be recognized as a PLS member and offered the chance to participate in our leader development activities, such as Leader Academy, or meeting leaders from other schools across the continent through committee work. Whether we like it or not, the perception from those not admitted to our society is that our society uses biased and exclusionary practices. So when I joined the PLS board in 2023, I was very happy to see that the board had already been planning to develop a universal member selection process to address these issues. The board believes that our process, developed by task force members representing collegiate members, leaders, chapter advisors, faculty, pharmacy leaders in practice settings, and those with training in equity and inclusion initiatives, was revised based on the comments and feedback that we received from the membership during comment period, during our town halls, and through the forum. represents best practices that align with the mission and vision of PLS. The reason the entire process is not placed into the bylaws is that it would be very cumbersome to make any important edits in the future, as we could only change things once a year at House of Delegates. The board needs to be able to be more responsive to make needed changes in order to best support our members. However, it has always been the intent of the board to ensure that any future changes considered would be given a member comment period in the same way that this was done this time. With all of that said, I would like to actually propose an amendment to the bylaws, Article 3, Section 2, to add the statement, any significant updates to these processes proposed by the Board of Directors will be distributed to society members for a comment period of no less than 45 days prior to Board of Director vote. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
Thank you, Dr. Coe. At this time, the speaker recognizes the motion to amend as outlined on the slide proposed here. We do see that there are others waiting to speak, but per Robert's rules, we will follow through with this motion and then give others the opportunity for discussion. So the motion on the floor is to provide this amendment. Is there a second? Second from Gamma Alpha chapter. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the motion to amend has passed. We will now refer back to the original motion on the floor from the Bylaws Committee and resume discussion from there. The discussion as amended. The speaker recognizes the delegate from Beta Chi.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I move to separate the proposal for universal member selection from the rest of the items under consideration in block for individual consideration. We do definitely support a universal member selection, but we feel the bylaw needs further discussion because our vote would be a little different on that concerning the rest of the items in block.
The speaker recognizes the motion from Beta Chi to remove the member selection process from the en bloc bylaws changes to vote on and discuss separately. Is there a second? Second from Beta Omega. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we will now call the vote. As a reminder, we will have only those who are opposed to the motion, which is to separate the member selection process from the en bloc voting. All those opposed, please type no in the chat. All those abstaining, please type abstain. Given the amount of nays in the chat, we are going to have to move to a poll vote for this motion. Please hold while we get that together. The poll should have come up for everyone on their Zoom screen. Reminder that you are voting on the motion to remove the member selection process from the en bloc voting of the rest of the bylaws changes. Please vote yay, nay, or abstain. As a reminder, if you are a candidate running for board office, you are not permitted to vote unless you are also simultaneously representing your chapter as a delegate. Only delegates and board officers are voting members of the House of Delegates. The poll will close in 30 seconds. The poll will close in 15 seconds. Please make your final selection now. The Speaker has heard the will of the House, and this motion does not carry. We will now continue with any discussion on the en bloc bylaws changes. Please raise your hand. Seeing no further discussion, the Speaker will now call the vote. At this time, all opposed, please type no in the chat. All abstentions, please type abstain. As a reminder, you are voting on the original motion as amended from the Bylaws Committee to pass the bylaws changes en bloc. The nays and abstentions are recognized. The motion to approve the changes to the Society Constitution and bylaws has passed. Thank you, Dr. Wagner. I now call on the report of the Programming Committee Chairperson, Dr. Erica McCoy.
Good afternoon, everyone. Nice to see you today. The Programming Committee has spent the reporting year focusing on our transition from previously a spring leadership summit to now it will be in the fall. Next slide. Special thanks to everyone who worked through this year of hefty charges that we worked our best way through despite the changes in the transition going to a fall leadership summit. Next slide. So some of our charges for this year included to develop the leadership summit, highlight leadership practice examples, identify opportunities for co-branding with other organizations. We liaise with the Giant program facilitators. Next slide. We collaborate with the executive director to develop programming best practices in a DEI checkpoint document. We ensure that all programming throughout PLS is in alignment with our mission, vision, DEI mission statement, and strategic plan. And most importantly, for this year, we developed an effective handoff plan and process for programming committee in light of moving to a fall schedule for Leadership Summit, as I previously mentioned. Next slide. So, as I alluded to, our Leadership Summit is moving to a fall event. We are hoping that this is a less busy time of year for different events and sessions that for our PLS members, so they are able to attend. The dates are Thursday, September 25th and Friday, the 26th. It'll be 2 days of virtual sessions, including ACPE accredited programming. So there will be opportunity to earn up to 5 CEs. There will also be a poster session like previous years. So if your chapter is interested in submitting a poster, there should be a request for abstracts coming out in the next month. There will also be a networking session and opportunity for reimbursement for students who attend the sessions. This year, we're focusing on a global leadership theme. However, that really aligns well with our chapters as we become an international PLS society. The title for the Leadership Summit in the fall is Leading Beyond Boundaries. So please keep an eye out on communications coming out in the next month regarding the summit, and please encourage your membership to attend. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McCoy. I now call on the report of the Chapter Development Committee Chairperson, Dr. Ariel Clark.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's been my pleasure to serve as the chair for the Chapter Development Committee. And I'd like to start off by saying a huge thank you to all of our dedicated committee members. We're so thankful for all of their work over this last year. I'm also honored to share with you an update on the work of the committee over the last year. Our committee remains dedicated to supporting the growth, sustainability, and leadership development within each of our PLS chapters. And in this last year, we've been lucky to make meaningful progress. Here are our charges for this year. They include to assess, next slide, please. Thank you. They include to assess chapter and advisor needs through chapter reports, review of the chapter operations manual, lead chapter development opportunities, develop treasury and finance templates and guidance documents for advisors. Next slide. As well as to develop streamlined training on best practices for chapter reports, and then finally to assess DEI perceptions. On the next slide, we'll review our accomplishments, with one of our biggest being the development and distribution of a membership survey focused on diversity, equity, and inclusion within our organization. We were very pleased to receive 61 thoughtful responses, feedback that will not only inform future DEI initiatives, but will also help us to create a more inclusive leadership community within PLS. Additionally, in review of the chapter operations manual, we're proud to say that we took a data-driven approach that will help guide our future initiatives. We also conducted an advisor survey to better understand the experiences, needs, and challenges faced by our chapter advisors. With 11 responses collected, we were able to gain some valuable insights that will help aid in guiding the creation of new resources specifically tailored for our advisors, resources that will help support them in their role, and by extension, strengthen chapter leadership at every level. For the chapter operations manual, while we did complete an initial update, the manual is now going to be undergoing a deeper review by the PLS leadership to ensure that it reflects current best practices and meets the evolving needs of our chapters. Next slide. Yeah. Our ongoing work includes the development of tools to better support chapters in the often challenging transition of officer leadership from year to year. Additionally, based on the advisor survey responses, we will plan on building targeted resources to better equip our chapter advisors. We've also initiated direct outreach to chapters that indicated and identified a need for additional assistance, hoping to ensure that no chapter feels isolated within the organization. In collaboration with the awards and communications committees, we hope to further streamline accessible trainings for chapter best practices, including social media posts, blog posts, etc. Again, I want to thank all of our committee members for their hard work, many of whom are on the call, their insight and dedication this year. And thank you so much, Madam Speaker, and I look forward to the progress this committee will make in the future.
Thank you, Dr. Clark. I now call on the report of the Member Engagement Committee Chairperson, Dr. Erin Ballantyne.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's been an absolute honor to serve as chair of the Member Engagement Committee alongside my incredible Vice Chair, Jocelyn Frymuth. I'm excited to take just a few moments to highlight some of the incredible accomplishments from this year, all made possible by the dedication and hard work of the Member Engagement Committee. Next slide, please. So first, we launched the first ever PLS Mentor Program. What started as an 8-week pilot in the fall of 2024 connected 24 mentor-mentee pairs and included a professional development session for participants that received overwhelmingly positive feedback. Building on that momentum, we expanded the program this spring to a 12-week format, and the response was incredible. We had about 69 mentee applicants, showing just how much our members value these meaningful connections. In addition, we developed a collegiate member to alumni transition guide, a comprehensive resource designed to support our final year pharmacy students as they step confidently into alumni membership. This guide covers everything from staying involved in PLS to navigating the first steps of professional practice, and it will soon be available on our website as a valuable resource for our graduating members. Next slide, please. None of this would have been possible without the creativity, passion, and dedication of our Member Engagement Committee. So to each of you listed on the screen, thank you so much for your time, your ideas, and your commitment to strengthening our society. Your efforts are making a real difference, and I'm so proud of what we've accomplished together. And with that, I'd like to give a special thank you also to Dr. Zach Curran and Shannon Brunzo-Hager. Thank you for your leadership in leading these initiatives and your time in creating meaningful opportunities for our members. And with that, I will turn it back to you, Madam Speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ballantyne. I now call on the report of the DEI Task Force Committee Chairperson, Dr. Tessa Schnell.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. It's a great pleasure to be able to offer our final DEI task force presentation to the House of Delegates. Can we move to the next slide, please? All of this work would not be possible without both our DEI task force committee members this last year, who have been great allies and creative problem solvers, having very psychologically safe conversations about a touchy subject right now in our world. And so I'm really grateful for these members, specifically a great call out to my vice chair, Zach Krause, as well as our other members who have been great representations of our collegiate, new practitioner, and professional workforces. And so I'd also like to recognize our board. This has been a labor of love over multiple years at this point in time that wouldn't be possible without both our board and our committees. These committees have been engaged in exercising all of these activities that we've committed to 3+ years ago. So can we move to the next slide, please? I wanted to give the House of Delegates an overview of kind of where we're at from the 30,000 point view. The DEI task force is in its 3rd and final year of service to the society. This was by design. A task force is only spun up for a short period of time to address a situation or a topic, or to investigate a potential option for future growth of the society. And so as a DEI task force individual, you'll read in my report, I do have full confidence that we are moving forward and adhering to those initial recommendations that were made by the initial task force in year 1. So I wanted to highlight for you guys kind of our path very briefly. In year 1, we developed the DEI mission statement, which was affirmed by our society and adopted. At that point in time, we also had DEI task force recommendations. There were a total of 18 recommendations. That seems like a lot, and it has been a lot. In year 2, those 18 recommendations were actually integrated into societal work. In each of these committees, you've heard multiple people talk about equity in our awards process, inclusion inside of our chapter member and development criterion. All these sorts of things were part and intentional to weave all of our practices throughout our entirety of our society, understanding that transformational leadership is inclusive leadership. In year 2, we also collected demographics on our membership as a whole, so we could understand better who we were representing, so we could create an environment of belonging for all of our members. These in year 3, which is the year that we're in, we really, the DEI task force stepped back into an advisory type of role, worked with the committees, provided feedback on different things that they were developing, additional viewpoints and what have you. We also provided longitudinal recommendations, as well as did some education development. And then we are in the process of finalizing our baseline demographics data that will be utilized to benchmark in the future. Can you move to the next slide? So just talking about our key accomplishments from year 3, one of the big parts was myself and Zach Curran both were part of the Universal Member Selection Criteria Task Force that worked on that development, heard your concerns, and also worked with the rest of the task force to provide that inclusivity and equity viewpoint that's so important with our membership. We also have completed the data set collection. We had some missing demographics from different chapters. This year we have been able to obtain those, so we have a full data set for the for the society to be able to present for the future. We also have made a recommendation for proposal of the longitudinal demographic assessment that the board has accepted and will be utilizing in the future. And then we have just provided advisory consults to multiple committees, from our ethics statement to how we look at speakers and how we're selecting speakers in the future. And those meetings have been ad hoc. In addition, we have reviewed the chapter level diversity, equity, and inclusion related activities that you've submitted to us that you're doing, and we plan to highlight those in the future as options that people can use to emulate some of the great work that you've done at the chapter level. And then currently under development that you'll see more on is some micro-learning resources that have to do with the principles of equity and inclusion that will be delivered via an innovative podcast. So stay tuned, we'll have some additional materials for you to use at your chapters. With that, I respectfully submit the DEI Task Force's final report to the HOD.
Thank you, Dr. Schnell. I now call on the report of the Communications Committee Chairperson, Ms. Olga Aurora Rodriguez.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I have the honor of serving this year as chair of the Communications Committee. I'm really excited to share the work our team has accomplished over the past year to help amplify the voice and impact of PLS. So next slide, please. So this year, we've really worked closely. I've worked really closely with the Vice Chair, Alejandra, and a powerhouse, let me tell you, group of committee members. So I wanted to just give a quick shout out to everyone, from managing social media to collaborating with national campaigns. Every member has definitely brought fresh ideas and energy. It's been truly rewarding to lead a group that's very passionate about connecting people and highlighting the meaningful work we've been doing across PLS. Next slide, please. So our charters overall as a committee, we focus on strengthening PLS's internal and external communication. This includes managing all the social media platforms, overseeing branding, supporting other committees, and highlighting chapter initiatives and events. We also create promotional materials, reviewing the brand use policy, and collaborate with the DEI task force and helping other chapters share the incredible programming with the broader PLS committee. It's a long list, as y'all can see, so I won't go through each one, but I will try to, we also try to promote leadership, collaboration, and visibility across the whole society, which is what these kind of highlight. Next slide, please. So what are our key accomplishments? This year has been all about impact. We have really focused on increased award and scholarship applications through targeted promotional graphics on social media and campaigns. We launched a promotional PLS 60th anniversary chapter campaign to really unify our chapters nationwide and also provide all the milestones that we've been going through. We expanded our chapter membership highlights and released new PLS pills and social media posts in celebration of Black History Month, Hispanic Heritage Month, and Women's History Month, really trying to uplift the diversity in our pharmacy world. We also ran the What I Love About PLS campaign to really support PLS mentor program and also maintain a consistent, engaging social media presence throughout this year. Next slide, please. So what are our future goals and recommendations? As a committee, we kind of hope to look forward to our committee members continuing to increase chapter participation through social media initiatives, improve structured campaign timelines to avoid last-minute bottlenecking, and then also enhance video storytelling for major events and announcements. We kind of want to tap more into the video side, and also maintain, of course, branding consistency across all our platforms to reflect our mission and professionalism. These hopefully will include improving our upscaling of impact, support more chapters, and of course, keeping our message and intentions inspiring. And just to kind of close, thank you once again, everyone, for y'all's participation. It's been awesome seeing what y'all have been able to accomplish as chapters through the awards y'all have been able to get overall. But thank you so much for allowing me to be your chair this year. And hopefully, I'm really excited to see where PLS goes next year.
Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. Now, if you will all bear with us a moment, we're going to return to the Treasurer and Finance Committee joint report that we have on video for you. All right, everyone. Thank you for understanding our technical issues, but we will make sure that that report gets sent out to all of the delegates to ensure that you are able to watch it if we cannot figure out how to stream it on today's meeting. With that, while I get situated to reshare our slides, I want to thank all of the committees for all of their hard work. It has not gone unnoticed, and that wraps up all of our committee reports for this year. All right, the next item of business is to consider any old business for which needs to come before the House of Delegates. Does any delegate have any old business to present? If so, please select the raise hand icon and your audio will be unmuted in a moment for you to address the House. Hearing none, we will proceed to the next item on the agenda. The next item of business is to consider any new business which needs to come before the House of Delegates. Do any board officers or delegates have any items of new business to present to the House of Delegates? If so, please select the raise hand icon and your audio will be unmuted for you to address the House. Hearing none, we will proceed to the next item on the agenda. Before we meet our candidates for the different positions today, the PLS Board of Directors wanted to encourage delegates and their constituents who are interested in expanding their leadership experience to run for office at the society level. We want students to carefully consider which position best fits their skill set because applications will not be transferred to other positions should a packet not be accepted for the submitted position. Now let's take some time to provide our delegates with an opportunity to practice voting using the election platform. The Society uses the board account method to elect each officer. Delegates will rank the candidates for each position in order of preference, and points shall be assigned to each ranking. Please refer to the delegate packet that you received for more information. Please follow along with me using the instructions listed on the slide. After I finish providing the instructions for voting, a link will be posted in the chat box. When you click on the link, you will be prompted to sign in using your name and email address. You must enter the email address that you used to register for the House of Delegates. The website will only recognize and accept the pre-registered email address. If you are unable to sign in, please find one of the breakout rooms where our student interns will be able to assist you. If you are unable to join the breakout room, please let us know in the chat box. Once you have signed in, you will see a list of Disney characters in a randomly generated order. The order is going to be different for each delegate. You can scroll all the way down to see a description of each character. Return to the top of the page and drag each character's name to place them in your order of preference, with your most preferred candidate ranked highest. Continue to drag all of the names until you have ranked every character in your order of preference. Please recognize that you will be ranking each individual character, not just your top ones. Once the link is sent and you go through your voting, double check your ballot, then press submit. Once you submit your ballot, you will not be able to access it or make any changes. The link is now posted in the chat box, and the steps for voting will continue to be provided on the slide shown on the screen. If there are any questions at this time, please type your questions in the chat box or go to one of the breakout rooms. Please go ahead and make your selections with the link provided. We are going to take a short break after you have made your vote, and we will reconvene the House at 1:25 Eastern Standard Time. Please ensure to use the link in the chat to cast your practice vote by 1:25. That's 1:25 Eastern Standard Time. Please be sure to cast your vote using the link in the chat. We will keep this poll open for about 30 more seconds. It is imperative that you make sure that you can vote using this link, as this is how we will be voting for the remainder of the candidates for the election process. If you are unable to access the link and vote on this practice ballot, you will not be able to vote for any of the candidates running for office. Please ensure that you cast your practice vote at this time. It will remain open for 30 more seconds. Voting is now closed. Please give us just a moment as we tally the votes. I'm pleased to announce our winning Disney character, Belle, who has won the vote. We will now move forward with the next agenda item. I now call upon the report of the nominating committee chairpersons and members at large, Janie Cole and Christina Kim.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Next slide, please. I would like to take a moment to not only thank the board members who served on our committee this year for their hard work and collaboration, but I also would like to give a special thank you to my co-chair and sister mall, Chrissy Kim. I certainly would not have made it through this year without your support and friendship. Based on feedback from last year's application process, the committee revised the application and nomination procedures, developed new interview questions, and created a more formal rubric to ensure objective evaluations of this year's candidates. All of our charges have been completed, except for one deferred charge to be addressed by the incoming members at large, which is to evaluate and address board concerns with the slating for international candidates, i.e. a lack of an appeal process, and proposed changes for 2025 elections. While the committee discussed creating an international slating and an appeals process, we were unable to dedicate the necessary time and resources to finalize it this year. Next slide, please. Delegates, please direct your attention to the screen for review of our candidates. For President-elect, we have Dr. Aaron Ballantyne. For members at large, Noah Burkett, Ashley Green, Melissa Growney, Haley Nicholas, Madison Shotton, and Quanshal Vinson. And for Speaker of the House, we have Cammie Fleming and Addison Hopus. The nominating committee recommends that all candidates for board offices be considered acceptable candidates and makes a motion to accept the candidates for voting. Thank you, Madam Speaker.
The Speaker recognizes the motion from the nominating committee. Because it comes from the committee, a second is not needed. Is there any discussion before we vote on the motion? If so, please select the raise hand icon. The board members will monitor the chat and will unmute your audio in order for you to address the House. Hearing no discussion, we will move on to call the vote. I will only ask those who are opposed to state their opposition, or those who are abstaining to state as such. All opposed, please type no. All abstentions, please type abstain. Seeing none, the motion to approve the candidates to be voted on for board positions has passed. Thank you, Janie and Christina. Each delegate has now heard the nomination as presented by the nominations committee. As a reminder, we'll be using the board account method to elect each officer, as we practiced earlier with the Disney characters. If there are any questions at this time, seeing no questions, we will move on. We have one candidate for the position of President-elect. At this time, Dr. Aaron Ballantyne, you will be allotted 2 minutes to speak.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Hello, my name is Aaron Ballantyne, and I am truly grateful to the PLS Nominations Committee for the opportunity to speak to you today. As I reflected on my leadership journey, from pharmacy school to residency to my current role, a constant theme in my leadership development has been my involvement with PLS. Perhaps you can relate to aspects of my story. I was inducted as a P2 student, became chapter president, completed the Leader Academy, and served as a collegiate member at large and joined various committees. Each of these experiences helped me to identify and to develop my leadership voice and to connect with incredible leaders. PLS has given me the tools and the confidence to lead, and I can honestly say I would not be where I am today without it. One lesson PLS has taught me is to never underestimate the impact of young leaders. As 1 Timothy 4:12 says, "Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example." PLS embodies this principle by recognizing and empowering student leaders early on before they even set foot in our profession as practicing pharmacists. Today, this Zoom call is full of young pharmacy leaders who have already been identified by their peers as the future leadership of our profession. What makes PLS special to me is how it nurtures potential into purpose. My decision to run for president-elect isn't based on years of experience or titles or extensive achievements that I've made in the field of pharmacy, but on the encouragement of mentors who saw my potential. If you've ever questioned whether your voice matters, I hope PLS has shown you, as it has shown me, that it absolutely does. If elected, I'm committed to amplifying the voice of our members, including specifically new practitioners, strengthening alumni engagement, and finding innovative solutions for society's growth. I'm excited to continue learning from all of you, serving PLS, and helping cultivate the next generation of leaders in our profession. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ballantyne. I will now call to vote the election for the president-elect. Since there is only one candidate, the Speaker will now entertain a motion to elect the candidate by acclamation. As a reminder, we ask that a delegate type the word motion in the chat box. Motion from Gamma Phi. Is there a second? second from Alpha. Is there any discussion on the motion? If so, please select the raise hand option if you would like to discuss the motion. Seeing none, we will now call the vote. All opposed, please type no in the chat box at this time. All abstentions, please type abstain in the chat box at this time. Seeing none, the motion to elect the candidate by acclamation has passed. Congratulations, Dr. Ballantyne. I now call for the election of the 2 offices for members at large. Each candidate will be allotted 2 minutes to speak. Candidates will be muted after the 2.5 to 3 minute mark if they go over time, and I will inform them that time is up. In order to expedite this process, candidates are asked to be prepared to speak when the candidate immediately preceding them is done speaking. Candidates will proceed in alphabetical order according to their last name. Candidates, please turn on your camera and audio when your name is called. Candidate Noah Burkett will go first.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and good afternoon, everyone. My name is Noah Burkett, and I'm a proud P3 student from the Beta Chi chapter at NUSC in Charleston, South Carolina. Over the past year, I've had the privilege of serving as president of the Beta Chi chapter and working as a college-level Leader Academy facilitator over the last 2 years. These roles have shaped me as a connector, someone who thrives on building relationships, listening to diverse perspectives, and bringing people together for a common goal, and it has solidified my passion for PLS and its mission. That's why I'm running for member at large. I want to be a consistent and direct line of communication between the board of directors and our incredible regional liaisons, chapter leaders, and members. My goal is simple: to help engage every chapter, share resources clearly and consistently, and ensure that no one feels out of the loop. I believe that we can create a more unified PLS experience by specifically increasing transparency and connection. I will support PLS member unification by attending regional liaison meetings, making my face and name known to you, and actively listening. I also plan to implement a feedback forum during the rollout of the new member selection process so that your voices can help shape our direction and foster improvements to enhance further development and growth for our organization. One idea I would love to bring to the table is working with the Member Engagement Committee to create a PLS member database that allows members to find and connect with alumni or other members nearby, regardless of their initiating chapter. This could help build stronger local networks, involve alumni from other schools and chapter activities, and make our society feel more like the national family it truly is. Phi Lambda Sigma exists to recognize and cultivate membership in the field of pharmacy. I'm ready to help us live that mission fully, not just through titles and positions, but through meaningful connections and actions. Thank you for the opportunity to serve, and I would be honored to have your support. Thank you.
Thank you, Noah. Up next, we have candidate Ashley Green.
Hello, everyone. I am Ashley. I'm a current P3 at the University of Georgia College of Pharmacy. If elected as PLS member at large, I hope to serve as a strong bridge between members and leadership, especially in strengthening communication from the collegiate level to the national level through myself and regional liaisons. My personal commitment is to ensure that every voice is heard and every idea is valued via opportunities such as feedback surveys and just remaining overall an open line of communication from via everyone. PLS has provided me with tremendous support during this past year through opportunities like attending the Leadership Academy and serving on the International Awards Committee. These experiences have very much shaped my perspective on leadership development and inclusion, and now I'm very eager to give back in the same meaningful way. What better way to live out our mission of recognizing, cultivating, and inspiring leadership and change than by leading with purpose, authenticity, and empathy? I believe leadership is not just holding a title. It's about lifting others up and creating space for diverse perspectives and taking actions that leave a lasting impact. As member at large, I will be committed to identifying and celebrating emerging leaders while also expanding opportunities for mentorship and development. I want to empower our regional liaisons to find their unique leadership voice and support them as they grow. I pride myself in being a reliable and timely teammate, and I strive to continue with those dependable traits when supporting our members and my fellow mall. I'm deeply passionate about our commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion, especially in these very unprecedented times. A stronger, more compassionate pharmacy profession starts with making sure that everyone not only has a seat at the table, but truly feels welcome and valued once they're there. I will advocate for initiatives that support underrepresented members and help to strengthen our inclusive, supportive community. Thank you all for your time and support. I very much look forward to growing with you all and to continuing the legacy of empowering lifelong leaders. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashley. Up next, we have candidate Melissa Growney.
Sorry. Hi, everyone. My name is Melissa. I am a P3 at Campbell University, pursuing a dual master's in pharmaceutical sciences and a doctor of pharmacy degree, obviously. And I would like to express my interest in becoming a member at large for Phi Lambda Sigma. It is well known that Phi Lambda Sigma grants many opportunities for leadership. And for me, the process of discovering my leadership style has taught me something very powerful. Is that leadership isn't about having all the answers. It's about creating a space for people to be heard, feel connected, and leadership in itself is a commitment to fighting for the highest possible good. That's why I'm running for member at large. I want to be a voice for collaboration within our diverse membership, especially among students and early career professionals, because I believe that we bring energy, ideas, and fresh perspectives that can truly shape the future of our field and our society as a whole. As a member at large, I'd be dedicated to listening intentionally, representing chapters with transparency, and supporting the growth of this organization in a way that reflects all of us and reaffirms this organization's commitment to diversity, equity, and inclusion. Leadership, to me, means being approachable, adaptable, and committed to meaningful change and engagement. And I think that each of the candidates put forth today exemplifies these qualities in spades. And I'm honored to be considered amongst them. I'd be honored also to serve in this role and to work alongside all of you to continue moving our profession and our society forward. Thank you all very much for your consideration.
Thank you, Melissa. Up next, we have candidate Haley Nichols.
Hello, everyone. Thank you all for being here. I feel honored for the opportunity to speak today. My name is Haley Nicholas, and I'm a current P3 at the University of South Carolina College of Pharmacy. I'm running for member at large because I believe in the power of intentional leadership, and I'm eager to serve the very organization that has helped shape mine. Throughout pharmacy school, I've held various leadership roles, including marketing positions in ACCP and PPA, chair roles in APHA and Rho Chi, and most proudly, president of Phi Delta Chi. Ironically, Phi Lambda Sigma is one of the few organizations where I've been just a member, or a JAM, as one of my advisors says. Yet, being a JAM in PLS has been one of the most meaningful experiences I've ever had. PLS has been the foundation that's allowed me to lead with confidence elsewhere, and for that, I'm deeply grateful. As a connector, according to the 5 voices, my strength lies in building meaningful relationships. I'm energized by the opportunity to understand what makes each chapter unique, and if elected, I hope to serve as a resource that chapters can turn to, sharing what drives success across the country so that all can thrive. I believe strongly in the power of both bottom-up and top-down communication, and I'm eager to act as a true liaison in that way. At my core, I'm reliable, loyal, and driven, an organized go-getter with exceptional communication skills and a say-yes mentality. That mindset, rooted in my membership with PLS, has shaped my leadership style thus far. I believe the experiences I've gained have equipped me with the insight, the skill set, and most importantly, the heart to serve at a national level. Serving as member at large would not only fulfill my desire to create meaningful impact across chapters, it would also challenge me to grow both personally and professionally as I navigate my 4th year. I've always believed in leaving every space I enter better than I found it, and I see this role as an opportunity to strengthen both myself and this organization along the way. I feel a deep sense of purpose in helping others love being a leader in pharmacy as much as I do, and this position would really allow me to live out that passion on a national scale. It's a challenge I'm ready for and one I'd be truly honored to take on. Thank you.
Thank you, Haley. Up next, we have candidate Madison Schotten.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Hi, everyone. My name is Madison Schotten, and I'm a 3rd-year student pharmacist at the University of Kansas. I'm incredibly honored and excited to be slated for the member-at-large position here at Phi Lambda Sigma. PLS has been such an integral piece of my leadership journey, and I truly believe in its mission to develop servant leaders within our profession. One of the biggest aspects of the member-at-large role is sharing that passion with others and strengthening connections between chapters, and that's exactly where I thrive. Thanks to my connector voice from Giant Training, I love bringing people together, whether it's one-on-one, in a room full of strangers, or even over Zoom. I find purpose in forming relationships and helping others feel included and inspired. I feel most confident as a leader when I'm building those connections and creating a sense of community, and that's what I would bring to this role. I currently serve on the executive board of my local PLS chapter, Beta Iota, and hold leadership roles in other organizations on campus as well. I was also a part of the Leader Academy graduates this year, which helped me grow immensely as a leader. All of the experiences, most notably PLS, have helped me lead initiatives, support team collaboration, and execute meaningful programming. Looking ahead, one of my biggest goals as member at large would be to strengthen the bridge between national PLS and our chapters. I believe we can do that by continuing to revitalize our national newsletter, not just as a means of communication, but as a tool for inspiration. Chapters should feel like they're a part of something bigger here at PLS, and by routinely sharing what's happening nationally, highlighting success stories of other chapters, and aligning chapter events with national goals, we can speak with one powerful collective voice of PLS. Thank you for considering me for this role. I am excited about the future of PLS, and I'd love the chance to help lead it forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Madison. Up next, we have candidate Quanchal Vinson. At this time, we're just going to take a quick 3-minute break to try and sort out our technical issues. So we will resume here in 3 minutes at 1:52 Eastern Standard Time. Thank you all for your patience. Thank you everyone for bearing with us. We will now reconvene as it is 1:52 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Up next, we have candidate Quanchal Vinson. Hopefully all of our issues have been sorted out. Take it away when you're ready, Quanchal.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I am so glad to be here and to be one of the potential candidates for the member at large. One example of why I would be a good candidate is because I work very well under pressure, which was shown 3 minutes ago. So my name is Quanchal Vinson. I am a P3 student from Campbell University, and I am honored to share a little bit about my journey, my passion, and my dreams for this position. I am privileged to serve in various leadership position roles that have shaped my foundation. I was inducted into PLS just last year as a member, and last spring I saw the opportunity to become a regional liaison. I answered that call, and I gave 110% into my duties. It was a challenge, and I was very excited. I worked closely with the current moms, Chrissy and Jamie, and they inspired me to keep striving. I quickly recognized that I wanted to give more to an organization who has given so much to the world of pharmacy. If elected, one of the things I would like to do is establish a day of service where all chapters across the society can give back to their communities and serve. To my knowledge, there isn't a day of service for the entire PLS, but this is something that I would like to launch and organize. This is a way to exemplify true leadership through community service and collaboration. I believe that my experiences as a regional liaison has equipped me to become a mall because I understand the duties of bridging the gap between nationals and chapters. I'm always willing to learn, and I can guide liaisons through the challenges and triumphs while working with my fellow mall. People would describe me as a bubbly person with an infectious smile. My personality is bold, and I love to laugh my way through life. Most of all, I think they would describe me as a young leader who isn't afraid to take chances and who is passionate about the profession of pharmacy and serving others. It will be an honor to serve this great organization, and I plan to stay involved with PLS throughout my career. I promise to represent PLS with respect, inspiration, integrity, and thank you for your consideration, and I hope I have your full support.
Thank you, Quanchal, and thank you to all the candidates. Delegates, we will now proceed with the vote. Place the candidates in the order of your preference by dragging their names on the ballot. You are now voting for 2 candidates for the positions for members at large. As a reminder, rank each candidate in your preferred order. The top 2 candidates will be the elected representatives. You will be notified if we are in need of doing a runoff vote. Please go ahead and make your selection once the link is posted in the chat. The issue with the voting platform has been resolved, and everyone should be able to access the form now to rank your preferences for the candidates for members at large. Delegates, please vote using the link in the chat if you have not done so yet. The form will remain open for 3 more minutes, and we will let you know if any further issues arise. Just a reminder that the results of each position will not be announced until the conclusion of all elected positions. Thank you. Voting is now closed. Thank you for your patience. We will reconvene the House at 2:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time so that we can tally the results appropriately. Thank you all for your patience. We have a result for the election of members at large. The results will be announced at the conclusion of elections for all positions. I now call for the election of the office of Speaker of the House. Each candidate will be allotted 2 minutes to speak. Candidates will be muted around the 2.5 to 3 minute mark and notified that their time is up. In order to expedite this process, candidates are asked to be prepared to speak when the candidate immediately preceding them is done speaking. Candidates will be called to speak in alphabetical order by their last name. Candidates, please turn on your camera and audio when your name is called. Candidate Cami Fleming will go first.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for being here and for the opportunity to run for this esteemed position, Speaker of the House. My name is Cami Fleming, and I am a third-year student at the University of Cincinnati. From the moment I was inducted into Phi Lambda Sigma, I felt an immediate connection to the mission of inspiring transformational change. That alignment has shaped my leadership journey and fueled my commitment to making a lasting impact. Recognizing the power of collaboration, I sought opportunities beyond my local chapter. As regional liaison for Region G, I worked closely with chapter presidents by forming strong connections and ensuring that every individual felt heard, valued, and empowered. I listened to their challenges and successes, and it taught me the importance of valuing the perspective of all members. Eager to continue my growth, I joined the Leader Academy, where I gained valuable insight into effective collaboration. I learned how diverse leadership voices drive meaningful change and how self-awareness fosters an inclusive, forward-thinking environment. These experiences reinforce my belief that leadership is not about a title. It's about the ability and willingness to uplift and amplify the voice of others, ensuring that no one is left behind. In this role, I will focus on increasing engagement, strengthening policy implementation, and expanding the reach of Phi Lambda Sigma. I want to inspire the next generation of pharmacy leaders by creating a reliable network that provides support and resources to drive success. I will actively assist the board of directors, participate in committees, and uphold the mission and strategic plan of Phi Lambda Sigma. With my strong communication skills, unwavering positivity, and passion for pharmacy leadership, I'm confident that I can serve as an effective Speaker of the House. I would be honored to take on this role and help develop the leaders of our profession together. Thank you.
Thank you, Cami. Up next, we have candidate Addison Hopas.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Addison Hoppus, and I am a third-year student pharmacist from the University of Kansas. I am honored to be here today as a Speaker of the House candidate. I am running for this position because Phi Lambda Sigma has played a pivotal role in shaping who I am as a leader. Through PLS, I discovered my voice, my confidence, and my passion for continuous self-development. Now, I want to give back to the organization that has given me so much and continue to grow alongside it into my professional career. I bring to this position a strong foundation built through experience and commitment. At the local level, I currently serve as president of the Beta Iota chapter, and I previously held the role of vice president. I also recently graduated from Dr. Cole's PLS Leader Academy cohort, which further developed my leadership skills and self-awareness while also deepening my understanding of our organizational mission and values. Additionally, within the American Pharmacists Association Academy of Student Pharmacists, My 2 years as a chapter delegate at the APHA annual meeting has given me firsthand insight into the responsibilities, challenges, and impact of a speaker role. If elected, I plan to serve as a resource and a true advocate for every student leader. One of my main goals is to increase engagement and comfortability within the House of Delegates. To help students feel more confident and empowered, one idea that I hope to implement includes hosting a mock House of Delegates session in advance of our annual House of Delegates session. By building familiarity, we can build participation and amplify every voice in the room. As we all strive to become the lifelong leaders that our profession needs, my goal as speaker is to make sure this space is one that welcomes growth, elevates ideas, and supports all of us in becoming the best leaders that we can be, now and well into the future. Thank you for your time, your dedication, and the work that you all do to uplift the leaders around you. I hope to earn your support as Speaker of the House, and I look forward to this potential opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Addison. Delegates, we will now proceed with the vote. You will be receiving a link in the chat. Place the candidates in order of your preference by dragging their names on the ballot. You are now voting for one candidate for the position of Speaker of the House. As a reminder, you are ranking each candidate, so place your preferred candidate in the first position. Please go ahead and make your selection once you receive the link. Voting is now closed. We will now break for about 5 minutes to tally all of the votes and update the slides with the results for both elections. We will reconvene at 2:26 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am pleased to announce that we have our winners. I now report to you the candidates having been duly elected. Your 2025-2026 Board of Directors elected officers are Dr. Erin Ballantyne as President-elect, Quanchal Vinson and Ashley Green as members at large, and Cami Fleming as Speaker of the House. Congratulations to all of the elected candidates. The installation of the newly elected board officers will take place during the annual board retreat this summer. Congratulations again. We will now hear a message from our incoming president, Dr. Ho-Young Trung. Dr. Trung, will you please turn on your camera and unmute yourself to address the 50th House of Delegates?
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Can you hear me okay? Yes, thank you. Sure. Could you go to the next slide, please? First of all, I want to take a moment to say thank you to the current leadership for your great service for this past year, as well as thank you to all those who just ran for office. I want to congratulate the candidate who were elected, and I look forward to working with you. At the same time, I also want to give a word of encouragement to those candidate who were not elected. They have more opportunity to serve, including the upcoming regional liaison position, as well as committee members. Please reach out to me. If not, I will reach out to you. I want to make sure that your leadership, by stepping up to run for office is value. I also share with you, 11 years ago, I ran as a president-elect for the Maryland Pharmacists Association. I did not win the first time. I ran the second year and I won. So there's a time for everyone to serve. So just because you're not elected today, your leadership is still highly valued, and I encourage you to continue to re-engage with PLS. So with that being said, I want to start out by having a very brief message today for a few minutes to share with you what is the plan for the upcoming year. But I like the word reflection a lot, not only because as a professor, I teach reflection, continuing professional development for students, but I find myself reflecting a lot upon my life to see what came in the past and what comes to the present. And this is a great opportunity to reflect as we are celebrating our 60th anniversary. So I want to encourage you to have the word reflection on your mind as we go to the next few minutes here. I want to acknowledge and express my great appreciation to the officer, to the board member, to the committee chair, the members, and everyone that I had the opportunity to serve with in the past several years. I would be remiss also if I don't acknowledge our executive director and the staff. We have wonderful teams, small but mighty, who support us from a lot of work behind the scene. This past year, we had the opportunity to form a 60th anniversary ad hoc committee in celebration. The ad hoc committee also have 3 subcommittees, including the one on history, and the one on fundraising, and the one on event planning. I want to take a moment to acknowledge the 3 subcommittee chair for that. including Aaron, Tessa, and Mary. Mary Euler, that is, and Aaron Valentine, who just won the president-elect, as well as Tessa Chanel, who is providing the DEI report recently. So we have a great event planning for throughout the year. Please look forward to more information upcoming, but we are 60-year anniversary celebration. Next, I want to take a moment to help us to reflect and review our POS mission and vision, as you see on the screen. Our mission and vision are listed there. We are here. It's very, very important for us to be able to reflect. And our mission is to recognize leaders in the profession, cultivate leadership development, and inspire transformational changes. And I'm very happy to hear some of the candidates and some of the report throughout the session today mention that in related to our mission. We also have a vision, empowering lifelong leaders to positively influence the profession of pharmacy. And that's what we're all about. So it is in that context that I invite you to share the POS journey with me in the upcoming year. My POS journey is very quick. I was inducted in 2003. As I thinking back, 22 years ago when I was a third-year pharmacy student, and then into the Beta Lambda chapter. And then after that, I become not as engaged with POS upon graduation. That's usually the case until just before the pandemic, 2019, when I became involved again in International Affairs Committee and eventually become chair of that committee, and then also serving a variety of other committee. And now here I am, president-elect, becoming president in a few months. So that's my POS journey. I want to ask you, what is your POS journey? I invite you to reflect on your POS journey. And 60 years is a milestone for us to be able to look back the past, look at the present, and look into the future. And that is the theme of my upcoming president year, to reflect on the past, learn from the past, celebrate, treasure the present, and embrace the future, whatever that may bring. So what is on your mind? I may ask you. It's a rhetorical question, certainly, but I look forward to you reaching out and sharing with me what is on your mind. What do you think is in the horizon for POS? What's up for the next decade of POS? What's in the store for the next 60 years for POS? A lot to reflect about. And for those of you, I hope maybe have a chance to hear from, or if not in the future, I had a chance to have conversation with Charlie Thomas, our founder, and we co-author, book chapter together. He is a wonderful visionary to work with, and I learned a lot from him. And I'm so happy that he's still around for me to pick his brain, to ask for help. So I want to invite you to buckle up for the POS journey and opportunity. What are those? Those are going to come. I decided to use the image. I'm a visual guy on the wheels of leadership. You have seen many circles, many wheels, the patient-centered care circle process, that you learn in school. You also have watched television, the Wheel of Fortune. People use the wheel. The image of the wheel is a circle, it's a continuous, it's very important. So, but in order to have for the wheel to roll, we need a path. Next slide, please. We are going to be launching very soon a Pave the Path. And I want to take a moment to acknowledge, two individuals who really work behind the scene on this, including Tessa and Haley. Haley is our communication person, is our intern student, and Tessa is going to be having a new role in my presidency in charitable giving. And those are important. In order for the wheel to roll, we need to have a path. A path is very important. So you can hear more about what are we launching, the Pave the Path, as we celebrate our 60th anniversary year. I want to keep a little suspense. That will come soon between now and the leadership retreat and the upcoming year. So Pave the Path, look at those bricks. As you know, I know we all enjoy walking on cobblestone sometime, but sometime for the wheel to wheel, we need to have smooth path. So you'll hear more about later. Next slide, please. I will be the first one to admit that art is not my skill. I struggle a lot, and it took me a long time to draw this wheel. It really did, because art is not my skill. We all blessed with certain talent and skill. But I think it's important for me to take that time to develop these wheel. And as I develop these wheel, you may ask, why two wheel and not one wheel? You have been to circus, you have been to show, you see people on a unicycle on the wheel and they balance it. It's amazing. I don't know how to do it. Even for me, two wheel is hard, as I remember learning how to ride my bicycle. But the reason I chose two wheel here, a lot of meaning, reflecting all the way back when I was a kid. When my mother used to drive us, me and my brother, on a bicycle, balancing two wheel with two kids, driving us around a bicycle. Nowadays, we have a car, four wheels, a little bit easier, but two wheels, a little bit harder. But it's not impossible, just like riding a bicycle. And it is a skill, the muscle memory, that while you may forget to ride your bicycle, as you get on the bicycle, you're going to be picked up very soon. And that's kind of like I want to be the mindset of us. I invite you to join me and ride the wheels of leadership. If you look at two wheels of leadership, like those of the bicycle, on the left-hand side, You have all of us, each and every one of you here, whether you're here on the Zoom meeting or you here supporting one way or the other. We have collegiate member, faculty advisor, honorary member, members at large, professional member, regional liaison, speaker, president, past president, support staff. We need all of those. On the right-hand side, you saw all committees and task force listed in alphabetical order. And those 3 task force that you will see in the upcoming year is task force on strategic plan, task force on charitable giving, and task force on past president. As I mentioned, I want to invite back past president because we need to treasure the past. We need to honor the past. It is through the past president who have served us and still around that we learn from them, that the institutional knowledge. So I'm forming a past president task force, bringing all the recent past president, especially those who have an impact direct on me and those have indirect on me to back so that way I can pick on the brain of those past presidents to see how can we honor the past in order for us to move forward. Meanwhile, we also have other committees move forward. But as you look at these 2 wheels, what comes to mind when you have a wheel? How many of you had experience with having a flat tire and have to change a flat tire? I have done that a couple of times in my life, including the first time when I need help. What happened? One little nail can stop the bicycle, the car, whatever running. And where I'm going with this is there's a quote that I've heard, not my quote. A system can only be as strong as its weakest point. You see the power of how one flat tire can stop the car from driving. How one thing, can stop a bicycle from riding. Therefore, we need each and every one of you. You look at the word wheel, WHEELS. We have each and every one leaders. We need each and every one of you. I love abbreviation. WHEEL, please remember, we have each and every one of you. Whether you're here or you watch a recording later or you'll be joining the year, I need all of you. I need your help. I need your support. It is our presidency in the upcoming year together that we're going to ride a wheel together. We're going to lift each other up because if there is one nail, one hole, the system, POS can only be as strong as the weakest point. We need to reach out to make sure everyone is included and is reaching. So with that being said, I'm Hoyan Trung. I approve this message. I invite you to join and ride a wheel of leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, incoming President Trong. Just a few more items of business before we close today. I ask that all PLS members who have joined us for the 50th House of Delegates today, please join us for the 2025 awards ceremony, which will begin at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And the link is posted on the PLS webpage, as well as should have been emailed to you several times by now. I also ask that all the newly elected officers and current board members remain on this call and be available throughout and after the awards ceremony so that the board of directors team may personally congratulate you. I now request a motion for adjournment of the 50th House of Delegates session. We ask that a delegate type the word motion in the chat box. Motion from Alpha Chi. Is there a second? Please type the word second in the chat box. Second from Beta Zeta. Is there any discussion on the motion? If so, please select the raise hand option if you would like to discuss the motion. Seeing none, we will now call the vote. All opposed, please type no in the chat box at this time. All abstention, please type abstain in the chat box. The motion to adjourn the 50th House of Delegates session has passed. I now declare this House of Delegates adjourned. Thank you all so much for joining us today.